And welcome everyone to this awesome indie spotlight. We're really excited to be talking to an awesome creator who's I'm sure you guys have seen in the indie community. He's a really great guy and has a really cool project we're excited to talk about. So, without further ado, my name is Michael. I'm one of the Wicked co-founders. I'm also joined by our fellow Wicked co-founder Matt today,
Hey,
and
how's it going, everyone?
then we with us we're speaking with, as I said, this awesome comic creator Manny. And how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Never been called
Excellent.
awesome before, man. Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, it's well deserved. It's well deserved.
Well,
So, well, as I said, we're really excited to talk to you today, man. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, how you got started in comics, and what your comic is about?
yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, my name's Manny. I've been making indie comics now for probably 2 to 3 years, almost going on 3 years. So we've made our comic book is El Crudo. We've published issues 1, 2, and 3. So we got those floppies, and we've already started to get a little bit of a fan base, which has been super fun. I got into comics. I mean, probably just like anybody. I mean, growing up reading comics and movies and cartoons. I mean, uh, as a kid and a young adult, I always thought, I could make something like that. I could do something. I got some crazy ideas, and so it took some time, and just more recently, I got more serious about it, and I just kind of set a goal for myself that, hey, I want to try to do this thing. Um, so El Crudo is the comic that we've been producing, and just to give you a little synopsis of it, El Crudo is an orangutan who's raised by the United States military, and he gets dropped into the Vietnam War. Right, so he gets dropped in on this crazy war, but he's the only one. He's the only American that leaves that death trap alive.
Mm.
It's just brutal, and so he gets stuck behind enemy lines. So essentially, it's all based. The whole comic's based around the internal monologue of an orangutan who's born and raised by the United States military. You know, loves America. Hates communists. And and conditioned to hate the Vietnamese, right? And he's
Oh,
like,
jeez.
and he's in this crazy environment. So he
Oh,
lands in
wow.
the Vietnam Highlands, and so then he lands in this guy's territory, who is the Viet Cong, kind of the yin to his yang is Major Dang. He's like a Vietnamese drug warlord who also has a small military organization, and he's
Mm.
securing some of that area because it's pretty tough terrain up in the Vietnam Highlands.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
so not that I've been, but
I can imagine, man. I can really.
so yeah, so he hates America. He's all about it. He's all about the Viet Cong, and so they're just kind of they're just like juxtaposed against each other. And so yeah, so that's the premise for the concept. I mean, what's super cool about it is Vietnam was just such a crazy time in human history. It's like super gnarly, so it creates a really good backdrop that we can do just crazy stuff, and it kind of fits
Yeah.
right in. I'd say more so than any wars. I mean, wars are pretty crazy, but Vietnam was just like,
Mm.
dude, no rules. It was a really weird, crazy, gnarly time. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. We got 3 issues out, and we're launching a Kickstarter for episode 4. We launched the Kickstarter last night. Luckily we got funded within a couple hours. So yeah, so EK4 is definitely happening, and it's by far the craziest, weirdest thing that we've produced so far. So yeah, we're going all out on this one, and we'll see how it lands.
How do you top yourself with what you've already done, man? That's wild.
Yeah, well, pretty much just take the take the storytelling handcuffs off a little bit.
Mm.
Um, so I don't know how well versed you are in the EK universe, but we've already dabbled into you know uh, Major Deng's running an opium lab. That's kind of how he's financing his operation. There's Min is the opium farmer, right? So El Crudo kind of finds that and winds up with a big ball of opium.
Oh no,
So,
that can't be good.
well, we'll see. It can't be bad. I haven't you know, I can't say that I,
Right.
relate, but
I cannot confirm nor deny.
or deny it's not a
Right.
biography by any means. However, it's it could be, it kind of, that's the whole thing about the Vietnam War, man. It was crazy. It was crazy. So we're in EK1. When we made EK1, I kind of wanted to make everybody think that it was going to be an ape war book,
Mm,
because I knew that people would I knew that there'd be some sort of market for that. And then in El Crudo 2, it's called Dragon's Blood. That's where I kind of took the opportunity to kind of flip the script and let people know that no, we're not just doing an ape at war book. We're doing something pretty different. We're trying to do something a little crazier. Uh,
mm,
and so we kind of introduced some concepts there. Episode 3, we pulled it back to get the storytelling momentum going so that we can move the plots along and the subplots. And then
mm-hmm.
EK4, this is just, we've already made 3 books. It's like now or never. So we just put, we just put the pedal down to the metal,
You
and
just kept going, man.
we just made we just made one of the craziest things that I could think of.
Now,
So
is
yeah,
how many issues do you guys have planned for the series?
sure. So like this is all based off of a short story. So
Okay.
I've said this before. I'll tell the story again. So back in the day when I was like a young kid, I wanted to be a writer. I'm sure a lot of young individuals want to pursue kind of creative outlets. So
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a lot of writing, a lot of just freestyle writing, just kind of like getting home from work and just opening up you know glass of wine or a beer and just kind of taking,
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
diving into a notebook. And I did that for many years. And then uh, I was going on this big trip out of the country. I was going to just travel. I saved up some money, and I was going to take off. And I bought a journal. And one of the first things I wrote was I just kind of sat down and I just had like an idea. Um, and at that time, I was super heavy into Sin City. I was watching the Sin City when the Sin City movie came out. I've already read all the trade paperbacks in my late teens. So when that movie came out, I was just like, dude, that was dope. I was a big fan of Spawn, the HBO animated series, because I had all the Spawn trade paperbacks. So I was kind of already thinking in that kind of like dark, grungy, kind of like internal monologue mode. And I used to write a lot from the first person. That's something that was really fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just had, I don't know what it was. It was just like a little spark, and I had an idea, and I just started writing. And in like 15 minutes, I wrote what is now EK1. I think a lot of people have that experience when they create something. So that's kind of how it started with me. And then when I was traveling, I would write little short stories based off of this character, based off of El Crudo, and I'd read it to my buddy on like I was traveling with a friend of mine. I'd read it to him on like bus rides and plane rides and stuff. And we would laugh, and if he would laugh, I was like, all right, well maybe I got something. I
Oh
came
yeah.
back. I came back and I was like, oh well, let me see if this has some legs. And then that's when I started really fleshing it out and getting more serious about it.
Nice, man.
And
Yeah.
then once I got serious about it, and like when I would pitch it, um, the concept, people would like respond to it, and they were everybody around me was really supportive. They still are. They're very supportive. Um, you know, luckily, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people, when they pitched up, if their friends and family are like, "Nah, that's stupid. Don't do it." But I didn't get any of that, so
Well, that's awesome.
I
Yeah.
kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and then I wrote an ending because I don't know about you, but for me, I like a good story has to have a money ending. It just has to have a just a dagger at the end, or to resolve its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's one of the things that I don't necessarily like about sequentials in traditional comic books. I like just a hard cut ending. So
Do you try to give each of your issues a kind of an ending to itself in that sense?
yeah, so in terms of books, I mean, when I first started, I wanted to I wanted to make a cartoon. When I first started, I was always reading comics, but I was, I don't know if I was overly ambitious or what. In fact, we made a short El Krudo cartoon. We made a 6 minute short.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, we made a Flash animation short.
Oh, that's cool.
But then, yeah, so then once I really started thinking about it in terms of comics, that's when I started understanding the constraints of the page panel format and the book format, where I had to take the story and I had to chop it up into bits, you know. And then it became like a puzzle. It was like super interesting. You know, how do I take this work and like fit it within all of these constraints of pages, panels, books, you know, even number books, right? 24, 28, 32, right? So once I started getting into that, that turned out to be what hooked me in that, hey, I'm gonna do a comic, and I'm gonna make an indie comic. So that was super exciting for me, is understanding the medium of comics more so than just a consumer, you know, more so than just reading the stories, like understanding that, you know, that medium of comic books is really powerful. Once I understood that, then I took it more seriously. So yeah, so for me, every page needs to read and it needs to hit. And then you flip it and then it reads and hits. And then if you flip it and it's on the left-hand side, well, that needs to feed into the right-hand side and then it needs to hit.
Damn. So yeah, you got the next level thinking going, man. I respect that, you know.
That's the benefit of the comic medium, you know. You know, I mean, you're limited to 6.625 by 10.125. You can't have more, you know. It's really interesting when you break it down. So yeah, I'm very conscious of the fact that every book needs to read, and you need to have some sort of, you know, some sort of resolution and/or cliff, and always a cliffhanger, of course, at the end, right?
And a payoff of some sort.
And a payoff, yeah. And then within that, every page needs to hit. Every page needs to communicate a specific thing. So that's how I did it. I had a very long story. I chopped it up into main components, and then I took those main components and then I chopped it up again. And I said, okay, well, what is it that I want to get across in this book? What are the 4 or 5 major things I want to get across in this book? And then I chopped that up. How am I going to do it? So yeah, it's converting a long story, a long prose story, because it's all based off of a short story that I wrote. So it's chopping that prose up into a comic, into the comic format was definitely interesting. So yeah, so long story short is, or long story long, I guess at this point, is yes, there's definitely an ending to this arc, and currently it's at 16 issues. But considering how long it takes me to make these things, I mean, right now we're doing about 6 months to do 22 pages. 6 months to do 22 pages of content.
Yeah, man.
24 pages of content. So we could probably crank out, you know, 2 books a year. So that's just too much. That's too much time. I'm gonna crank it down from 16. I'm trying to fit it into 12, and I might do some double issues. I might break it up into 4 quarters and then do a double issue every 4th. Right. So
crowdfund 2 books at once.
Yeah. I think that's kind of how we're going to move forward.
Nice. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I could totally see that.
Yeah, man.
Well, why don't we go ahead and dive into the campaign itself and start taking a look at the perks and what you guys have on offer there. Also, you gotta show off your beer there, man. We got, of course, we got beer on tap here. Right on. So we have the goal here. As we said, he reached the goal, and so the comic is going to get funded, which is pretty exciting. And then it's going to go. I'm assuming once the counter drops down, it'll go in demand automatically. Or no, let's see. It's Kickstarter. They don't really have in demand, do they?
They don't have in demand, so that's why we wanted to make sure that we were funded right away.
Okay, well that's good, man. Yeah, that's cool.
I didn't want to mess around with anything. I want to make sure that anybody that pledged is going to get a book. That's it. I didn't want to mess around with anything. Anybody that's interested in EK, I mean, we're going to get you some books. So I wanted to make sure of that. Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, yeah. So let's go take a look here. So first up on the perks here is
We
called.
could. Do you want to watch the video first?
Oh, sure.
I made a short little
Okay,
video.
sure. Now, let me reshare then with the audio.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, that's all good. I just gotta make sure I don't leave out the audio this time. There we go. That was awesome, man. That was a great trailer.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Yeah, nice kick-ass music and sure, man. El Crudo ain't messing around, man. He don't play around.
No,
That was
he
pretty,
doesn't.
that was pretty awesome, dude. Yeah, that was cool.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun to put together. I used to do like some audio editing as a kid, like putting together like radio shows and stuff when I was a little kid. So it was fun to kind of learn this new video software and put something together.
Nice,
but yeah,
man.
it was fun, man. That's and all that art is just awesome. I mean, we got a great team, so they gave me great material to work with, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of the guys.
We have a comment in the chat here. XD5. What stream day just got in with the military combat orangutan? That's you. You've entered the El Crudo stream, my friend.
Yeah, he stumbled into the wrong stream, bro.
Or the right one, depending. You never know, right?
Yeah, you never know, man. Everyone's got their own thing.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Well, it's funny. I actually wanted to ask you this. So, I was really curious, and I tried to do a little research. My research was a little inconclusive, I'd say. So I'd like to ask you, as the creator, where does the name El Crudo come from, and does it have a meaning behind it?
Yeah, sure. So El Crudo means it means the raw, technically in Spanish. So originally it comes from, it was my nickname in college. I used to work at a
oh, really?
At a Mexican restaurant, and I was a bartender, and I'd show up at the Saturday morning shift at like 9:30, and El Crudo, it means the raw in Spanish, but it also means like hungover, because you like feel like raw meat. So the cooks I'd walk in and be like, Krudo, they got me.
Oh my god.
So that was kind of where I got the name from, but it also means like the rookie, right? If you're like new, if you're raw, you're like the rookie.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So there's that translation. So in EK4, we kind of show a little bit about it, about where he might have gotten that name.
Okay, very cool.
But yeah, but essentially, there's in this project, El Crudo's not the only ape in the he's not the only ape in this military, this Marine Corps special project.
Oh, interesting.
So they
Okay.
all have kind of different names, and they're generally named by, because they're largely excluded from a lot of the the human soldiers, of course, because it's like a special scientific project. So
Mhm.
um, a lot of the staff and a lot of people that are working are the ones that kind of give them the names, and sometimes they stick. And so yeah, so El Crudo means a couple things. It means raw, it means hungover, and it also means like a rookie. So
The raw hungover rookie.
exactly. And
Nice
all
combination.
those
Yeah.
things kind of fit in with the EK vibe that we're trying to roll with. So
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I love it because it's such a unique character you created. I feel like, I've not seen any other comic out there like this, which is really cool.
yeah, I mean that's the thing is I've never made a comic before. So, by definition, anything we make is going to be unique. I mean, whether it's
True.
good or not, that's something else. But that's one thing that Zeros, who's like the main artist that I've been working with, we've worked with a few artists, but Zeros has been awesome. But that was one of the things I told him. He'd never worked in comics before either, but he was a great artist. And I said, look, whatever we make, like, it's going to be different. Because we're not, we don't come from that ilk, and we never started out, trying to replicate or idealized, or I don't think our creative juices were entrenched in, modern comics at all. So we were just kind of,
Coming from a different perspective in a sense.
yeah. I mean, we were both big comic fans. I mean, we're both huge comic fans. But we just never really thought of ourselves that way. I mean, he's a 3D artist that wants to work in video games. I mean, he's developing his video game portfolio.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
and me, I was a creative. I was in creative writing, and well, I wasn't not necessarily in for education, but I wanted to be a fiction writer, right? So the people I studied and the people that I admired were Hunter S. Thompson and Ernest Hemingway. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we had completely different perspectives on art and comic books. So it was definitely unique. It's
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, that's really cool. It sounds like you guys have a good working relationship together. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We've been working together for three years now. Anytime that there's stuff like this, I mean, it's stressful at times, because it's like collaboration, working in teams, it can be stressful. But Zeros is great. He's a professional above anything else. He and I we work on deadlines, and he'll meet the deadline. Like the guy is just a total professional.
Nice.
Um, and I have a lot of work that I share with him with this project. So it's definitely a team effort, and it's been a pleasure working with Zeros. And yeah, it's been great. Without him, I mean, I don't know, without him, it'd have a different, it'd be different, right? So yeah, it's been a pleasure working with Zeros.
Well, yeah, that's great. It's always good when you have an artist that you work so well with. You
Yeah,
know.
he's the man. And now we're getting to the point where we got so much foundation of like material built that like our communication is just so much faster, right? Because we don't before. I mean, when we first started, we had to define everything, right? We had to define style. I mean, because he can do any style. He can do cartoon, he can do painting, he can he's a pretty well versed artist. So there was a lot of things that we had to nail down: character design, environment design, feel, vibe, um, all of those things. And now that like all that foundation is laid, it's really helping us kind of tick along, and it's really helping our communication and our progress on EK4. It's when you see EK4, his work in EK4, it's obvious that you know that that he's improved, or that he's kind of more internalized the vibe and the feel of the book.
Well, that's excellent. Yeah. Well, as I said, let's go and take a look here at the perks that you got. So I want to put out the link, everyone. You can check that out. It's on the screen there now. So please go check it out. And we're gonna go, as I said, we're gonna go ahead and dive into these perks
Cool, man.
and see what we have here. So the first one, it looks like we have offers digital. And so what can you tell us about this first perk here?
So the digital is so 100% of the art is done. we've got the last couple pages in. There's a couple pages. There's 3 pages that I'm waiting on for lettering. They should be done today. So the book's done. EK 1 through 3. I mean, we published those. You know, we've already published those. So the digitals are going to be available, and largely that's for you know, anybody. I know there's some people that like digitals. I think that the colors are way better on digital. I read some comics digitally. I do read some, so I understand that, you know, some people are into that. And also our international, you know, we've gotten some fans in the UK and the Netherlands and Norway, and that overseas shipping is just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. It's like, I just talked to a gentleman today. I'm shipping to Australia. It's like $26 for the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like, so I want it to be that anybody at all, if you're interested in EK and you want to read it, I mean, we're gonna get it to you. I don't want there to be any barrier at all to entry. You know, I've heard people say that, you know, you need to own the book for whatever, but I'm more about the story. Like, if you want to read the story, I want to make it available. Digital tier is the best way that I can do that. And $6, I mean, for 4
That's a
bucks.
lot of comics. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a lot of comics for $6. That's a great deal, honestly.
For $4, I mean, I had to put something in there just because, I mean, you know, it costs money to make digital just as it does paper. But, you know, because we're working, you know, human resources and labor hours they're no joke on comic books, you know. So I want to make sure the artists get reimbursed. I want to make sure the artists get paid. Everybody, I mean, they work so hard, they deserve it. So that's our way of like, hey, if you want to chip in and, you know, check it out, this is a tier that you can do that, and, you know, it supports the artists and keeps the train rolling, you know.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I always like to see those. I think it's important. And I also like you're offering the first 3, so people who maybe didn't, you know, aren't familiar with the series, new to the series, they can catch up.
Yep, it's definitely sequential, right? So I mean, it's not like they're one shots, you know. So it's
true.
Everybody has access to it.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, yeah. And then what's the next? We have the EK number 4, getting physical. Ooh, getting physical.
Yeah. So that's just the book. So that's for people who already have purchased EK 1 through 3, or they already have EK 1 through 3. So there's people that have, you know, they've already been with us for a little while. There are some.
Your EK veterans, you might say.
Yeah. You know, we've developed a little bit of a fan base. So of course, I mean, that's just you know, if they just want the book, get them the book. But it's 52 pages, right? So we're doing a double.
Dude, that's a big book, man. Jeez, that's a big one.
46 pages of story. We're only putting 6 pages.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys aren't messing around here.
No, dude. We got a story to tell. We have a story.
Really? Yeah. Wow, that's really cool.
It's 52 pages. It's 46 pages of story. And
hey, dude, that's another great deal there. Your deals are amazing here, man.
Yeah. So the $10 one, I mean, you know, as a comic, I mean, you guys know, but like, you know, I wanted to make sure again that the price wasn't a barrier to anybody.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm not, you know, EK4 is not going to make us millions, right? It's not a moneymaker. But if we can get people to, you know, that if we can find people that appreciate the book, I mean, that's the main thing, right? We're really thinking long term.
True. Build that fan base up.
There's some real costs involved, and, you know, that's real. Those costs are real. There's no getting around the cost. So, you know, we want to make sure that the tiers are at a level that anybody that sees a crazy orangutan dropping into the Vietnam War, it's getting stuck behind enemy lines and doing crazy crap. I want to make sure that money is not a barrier. I want to eliminate all the barriers, and then, hey, let the chips fall where they may. And, you know, if we can build a fan base, then, you know, that's what's going to sustain us in the long term. Not me making, you know, X dollars off this campaign. You know, that if I were to do, you know, something like that, I don't. You know, I think that's kind of a short-term plan, especially for us, because I mean we're largely unknown. I mean nobody really knows us, right? So
we you know, I don't know. You're getting out there, man. I've been seeing you more and more. So I
Yeah,
think
I
you're
mean,
doing the right thing here, man.
people,
Building that fan
get
base.
on. And you know what's great is like people that read it. I mean, they like the book, so that's the best part. It's it'd be different if we're getting people the books and like, hey, that's great, but and then I don't hear from them again. But pretty much everybody that's bought EK1 and 2 bought EK3, and then everybody that I everybody that I know who's bought EK3, like they're sticking with it. So I mean, that's pretty cool. I feel good about that. So yeah, so I'm just trying to get it in front of as many people as possible at this point. And yeah, so this $10 tier, if you've already got 1 through 3, this is the tier for you. Get the book. We already hit the stretch goal. The stretch goal is $750. I made it really low. The first stretch goal is just for stickers, the EK4 sticker pack. We're going to make some dope stickers, some die cut stickers. So everybody who gets the book, you're going to get the book and the stickers. If you're a reader and that's all you want, I'll get you the book and the stickers, no problem. $10, shipping's $5. I mean, that's unfortunately with indie comics, that's about the best that we can do. So yeah, that's that tier.
Very nice, man. And so then the next tier is the EK starter pack. And what is included in this one here?
So the EK starter pack is for anybody who's new to the EK, to the El Krudo project. So if this is like the first time that you've seen the El Krudo project, like this is for you. You get EK 1, 2, 3, and 4 printed, floppies, bag boarded, and shipped to your door for, I think that's like $26 or something like that. I think it costs a little bit more to ship.
With shipping? Yeah.
Yeah, the shipping, it takes it over the pound. I'm sure you guys know, but over the pound, it takes it from, it takes it up that next.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
17 ounces or something. So yeah, so if you're new to the project, I mean, you're getting 4 books for $20, and the books are already made. We already have the books. I made sure to, when I made EK 1 through 3, we printed extra, so we have X number of extra available. So yeah, so those 3 books are already printed. We're printing 4 in December. I got a slot with our printer. We're going to probably get those books back end of December, early January. And yeah, and then since we hit the stretch goal, everybody's going to get a sticker pack, and I'll probably send in a thank you poster or something like that. I haven't really decided.
And it looks like estimated delivery date of February 2021.
That's my estimated delivery date. It might be sooner. It might be in January, but I wanted to put February just because I don't want people. I want to make sure that people know that we're going to deliver. Printing.
And not have to come late, right?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, printing is the biggest pain in the butt.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, this is my 4th book, and on every book I had an issue. Every single book I had an issue. Sometimes it resolved, sometimes we didn't, and I sucked up. You know what I mean? So this one, we're ahead of schedule. The art's done. I'm in line with the printer. Even if I get bumped or bumped a couple times, I can't imagine that we get it later than February. It would be really, if we get it later than February, I'm gonna switch printers. You know what I mean?
Hey, we know all about that, man. Trust me.
And with COVID and freight and all that stuff, freight's going up through the roof. I mean, it's just been so you never know. So I put February, and that's my goal. I think that my goal is January, but I'm giving myself a little cushion.
A little cushion, yeah. That's
hey,
smart.
That's always a smart move, yeah.
Yeah, better to deliver early than late,
Yeah, under promise, over deliver, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially if this is your first, if this is your first venture into EK. I mean, let's just say worst case scenario is if this is your first step into EK, if we don't get EK4 by February, I'm gonna send you EK 1 through 3, and I'm gonna eat the extra shipping on EK4 because right now customer service is number 1. We need to reinforce that we're serious. We're trying to make a cool book, and we're trying to share it with people. So that's number 1. So no matter what, people are getting books in February, no matter what.
Okay, well, yeah, I think people can really appreciate that kind of customer service when when some people have been burned by past Kickstarters or Indiegogos. It's nice to hear your commitment to that.
There's a long list.
Oh yeah.
I still have an open spreadsheet with 1 or 2 empty slots.
Really? Yeah, I may have a few there myself.
Uh,
But
people deserve that. People don't deserve that. You know what I mean?
no. Yeah,
There's
definitely.
so many indie comics. I was on Kickstarter today, and I was looking, and they have 5,000 open comic projects on Kickstarter.
Wow.
5,000.
That's incredible.
There's so many indie comics out there. People have limited time. People have limited money. I mean, it's not infinite. The fact that you
True.
want to spend your time and your money on our project,
Mm,
holy crap! Like, what an
that should
honor!
mean something. Yeah.
Like
To
that's a
you.
contract. That's like a contract between yes, we're definitely going to deliver
Nice.
something like that.
That's a cool, man. That's a cool perspective. Like, to really say, I appreciate the putting their time, their money into this project. That really is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, you can relate, right? I mean, I got a
Yeah.
reading list. My reading list is huge. It's big. The fact that anybody wants to spend time,
Mm-hmm. Oh
precious
yeah.
money on our crazy-ape book is just so awesome that
Yeah, that's really cool.
yeah, you gotta respect that, and you gotta respect that.
Nice. Well, yeah, I think that's a good perspective to have. It really is. That's going to pay off. That people seeing that respect and that trust that you're building there, that's going to mean a lot. So.
Yeah. Again, we're thinking long term. Long term.
Mm-hmm. Now I wanted to point this out as well, which is it shows that there's a limited 92 left of 100. So obviously there's a limited space here, and so if those fill up.
I don't have an infinite amount of EK 1 through 3s.
Okay. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I put a cap on it. I put a cap on it because I didn't print 10,000, right?
Right.
So
that makes sense.
I want to make sure that, and I do sell some on the side. I'm in some stores and stuff, so I want to make sure. So I put a cap on it.
Okay.
And if we sell 100 of those, freaking great.
Right. Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. Very cool.
Right now we're at 8, so I think I got 8 books covered.
Well, hopefully we'll get closer to 100 there by the end of the whole campaign here.
Yeah, thanks for trying.
Exactly, man. Yeah. And then the next pack is EK number 4, getting physical fan edition. We got some fan service potentially here. Yeah.
So I kind of think about there's different types of customers, comic customers, and I'm the reader type where I just will read. I just love comic books for reading. But there's also some people that like to collect and they like some of the other swag and stuff. So this is like the fan edition package where you get the book, you're getting the stickers. We're probably going to hit our stretch goal, which is a mini poster. But then we also made some cool postcards, and it also comes with a limited edition El Krudo beer koozie, can koozie.
El Krudo.
So, yeah. It's a friend that wants to support a little bit more at a little bit higher tier, but you get a little extra swag for it. So it's an extra just to buy the books $10, but hey, if you want to chip in a little bit more, we'll send you some more art, and we'll send you some a beer koozie. If you want to rock some swag at
you can put your beer in your koozie and then read the comic.
Dude,
right?
Guilty. Very comics, man. Very comics. It's like peanut butter and jelly.
Right, and well, I mean, you're not wrong, and it's fun because I've never seen a beer koozie. That's another unique thing I've never seen like that before.
It was either this or a roach clip, and
yeah, maybe on the next one, man.
I don't want to have to explain to my mom because I don't have to tell her what a roach clip was.
Right,
that would be kind of a smarter idea, and not only that, I mean, beer is still a little bit more popular than marijuana still. So marketing purposes, that's a smart choice.
Yeah,
maybe on the next campaign.
I can't keep up with those kids. They start calling me out. It wasn't legal in my day, so I didn't. Luckily, I was able to mitigate some of those bad habits.
I mean, El Krudo hangs out with opium dealers. I mean, he can't. He's got no room to talk. He's got.
Yeah, I mean,
at the same time, I don't think they would have a purpose for roach clips with opium. So
well, no, definitely not.
it depends. I mean, if you're in a pinch and if you don't have an opium pipe and you got to roll it, you got to make it
you got to do what you got to do, I guess, man.
I mean, there's a first time for everything,
Jesus.
right? So
or second or third time.
Yeah, you got to get that temperature up, and you don't want your fingers burning on that.
Oh, that's too funny.
It's all sappy; it'll drip on your fingers, man. Nah.
Now, does El Krudo partake in the ganja?
Yeah. So in EK3, he talks about how he realizes that he's kind of stuck behind enemy lines and he's got to kill some time. You know, he's already drank all his booze. And there's an opium farm, so he goes to check that out. So that's an EK3, so you can see where that's going.
Oh no.
EK4, we try not to disappoint with that.
Well, that's too funny.
Yeah. EK3 is all about El Krudo when he meets the opium farm.
Nice.
So in EK2, I do the setup, and in EK3, we push that plot a little bit long, and then EK4. It'll be a running theme, you know. I mean, that's the thing about Vietnam, you know. It's hard to separate Vietnam from all sorts of crazy crap, which includes, you know, drugs, violence, horrible treatment of other people.
Well, yeah, I mean, talk about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying, man?
I was saying that there's a lot of crazy themes that Vietnam allows you to explore. So you know, that's probably the main reason why I gravitate towards that war and that period.
Well, yeah, because it sounds interesting. I mean, you kind of to your point. I mean, it's not only a war happening, but it's also a unstable region as it is, right? So it seems like a terrible combination, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's chaos. I mean, at that time, I mean, you had you know, right after World War II, like when Japan collapsed, Japan was supporting France. So Vietnam's been like they've been like an empire for hundreds and hundreds, maybe not hundreds and hundreds, but for hundreds of years. And so at this time, there's like, you know, everybody's trying to get this Vietnamese nationalism, Vietnamese nation state. And it was just such a turbulent time. There were so many different forces moving in there. You had the Chinese, you had the Soviets, you had America, you know, the U.S., you had, you know, the Western powers. And it was just such a turbulent time. And that kind of craziness and, you know, lack of, you know, political, socioeconomic stability created an environment for something like the Vietnam War to occur.
Wow.
It's not an accident that all that stuff kind of happened in Vietnam. I mean, I'm sure you've seen Apocalypse Now and Full Metal Jacket.
True, yeah.
You've seen footage. I mean, that's not an accident why that happened. It was a total blender of just all of the worst possible elements of instability, and it was tragic. You know, it was tragic.
Very tragic, yeah. And now take it to, you know, El Krudo and putting him into that environment, like just like you're saying, the kind of the craziness and everything that can happen around him.
It gives us the freedom where we can tell any crazy story that we want to tell. You put him in that background, we can get as weird as we want to get, and it fits because of that environment and how people conceptualize that environment. So there's nothing that you can do in that and be like, oh, that doesn't sound right. It's like we can do super weird stuff, and it fits within the storytelling, and it fits within that context. So yeah.
Now, does El Krudo, does he want to get back home, or is he in Vietnam for good?
He hates the jungle.
Oh no, an ape who hates the jungle? No, say it ain't so.
He was born in Sumatra, but he was raised at Camp Pendleton in San Diego. He likes a nice, you know, slab of baby back ribs and a cold brew every day.
He's a man that has an ape after my own heart.
The jungle sucks.
Man, that's hilarious. That's a really funny twist on that too. You know, you usually typically, you know, an ape or a primate would love to, you know, swing through the jungle. He's like, nah, I'm good.
He's okay. He's okay in the arboreal environment. Like, he makes his bed up in the trees. Like, he gets around really well because he's naturally fit for that environment. But he misses the comforts. He misses the comforts. I don't want to get into comfort. Yeah, I mean, the creature comforts. Yeah, I mean, I think about how spoiled my dog is, and like we go out in the rain, and I'm like, because I live in the Pacific Northwest, and he looks at me and we're on a walk. I'm like, dude, we're going on a walk. He's like, your dog, you're not cold.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's kind of like that, He likes the beach, he likes a good barbecue, and he doesn't get that in the jungle. So no, he's not happy about being out there. He can't wait to get back to America.
Now, the dialogue you mentioned is kind of this internal monologue that's going on. So does that mean he's like a true primate? He can't speak to the humans.
Correct. He can't speak. Okay. So it's all so yeah. He expresses himself through the internal monologue, and the fact that he can't speak comes up later a couple times.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I keep him as ape as possible. As much of an orangutan as possible. All his body proportions, all his movements, all of his some of his quirky preferences. I try to make him an ape. I don't try to humanize him.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
When you read it, I mean, you don't know if an orangutan has the capacity to have that kind of mental agility or that kind of critical thinking skills. But I leave space to wonder.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I remember there was an orangutan that escaped from the Argentinian zoo. I don't know if you remember this. This was a big news story about 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
And and so he escaped from the zoo, and then there was like I'm going to butcher the story. However, after that incident, there was a big push from like nonprofit organizations, and it actually went to court in Argentina that orangutans should be considered people and tried as people under the law. So they had all of the rights as like a citizen of Argentina. Now I might be totally butchering the story, but that's kind of an interesting concept that
is really interesting.
Is like, hey, they have the capacity to kind of be like a human, and who knows what their capacity is because we can't see their internal monologue. So I dropped El Krudo in, and
well, it is fascinating their intelligence. Primates and apes of all kinds. The similarities between humans and them is so close and so interesting that I do feel like you can buy that premise. Like if he's grown up, he's been trained in this way. Definitely. I mean, there's definitely instances of them learning these different kind of tactics, and they definitely can pick up a gun and use a gun. So
yeah, for sure.
Tool that's also interesting.
Tool manipulation, friend and enemy concepts, all of these things are very
pretty awesome. Actually,
I mean, there are stories. I mean, I don't know if you watch the JRE or even listen to it. But he talked not Jerry, JRE podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience podcast.
Okay.
There's been plenty of times where he actually talks about chimpanzees and apes on how like monstrously human they are in certain aspects, and then with combining their animalisticness, they're savage.
Yeah.
Savage things, man. Like it is very surprising that we come from them. We're on the same evolutionary tree in a sense, but at the same time, on how vastly different we are compared to them now is just, it is scary sometimes to think about.
Yeah, and that's kind of you brought up an interesting point. I've kind of described people as like apes with clothes and money. Like that's kind of one of my lines. I mean, but if you think about it, we're nature and nurture, right? So it's like, I don't know if it's 50-50 or whatever, but we are kind of products of our environment. So like, let's say you take an orangutan, for example, and you only consider him within this, this environment of the United States Marine Corps on the Marine base of Camp Pendleton. And that's it. And, that's his first 8 years. So he's still the ape, but this is his environment. So it's this weird it's this interesting combination that I get to explore with his internal monologues, and And yeah, and it also like allows me to write with so much freedom about, you know, what he could possibly think, and not be worried about, you know, whether it's human or, you know, anything like that. I don't have to worry about a lot of things because it's coming from an orangutan, right? So
lets you do the story that you want to do.
Yeah, it makes me. Yeah, it also allows to just him think crazy stuff, and like it's like justified because he's an orangutan, so it's chill. So yeah,
an orangutan likes beer.
Now, real quick, can he talk in any way?
No, I think he said he can't talk.
Cannot talk.
Okay. Okay. Does he know sign language at all? Or actually, no. I think this is probably before a lot of that started.
No, I mean that's an interesting thought. You know, it's a good question. What do you think, man?
We get into that in EK4 a little bit about his training, and essentially it's his training is all based off of very early foundational operant conditioning. So operant conditioning was from B.F. Skinner, starting in, you know, the late 50s. So it was a really premature field, but they had crazy advancements at that time. So so yeah, they didn't have the full. So right now you have GSL, which is like Gorilla Sign Language. And, Coco has like 2,000 signs or whatever, and they can communicate. But at that time, it was still very rudimentary.
Oh, okay.
Very early on. So he doesn't sign, he doesn't write, he doesn't speak. But you know, he gets along. You know, he gets along.
Can he get what he wants to convey across to the others in you know, that is around him?
With this, so it's presumed that he does, but in this, as you'll, you know, whenever you get into seeing it, I mean, he's essentially by himself in Vietnam, and he does a bunch of crazy stuff. So it only comes up later in the story, and then later in the story, I don't want to give any spoilers, but
right, definitely.
That's one of the other good things about, you know, being the writer and all of this stuff is that I can put it in a way to where things are assumed, and you know, we don't have to answer those specific questions. That there's just an assumption. And so yeah, I think that's the fun part about it, right? Is I just kind of lay it out, and then you know, the reader gets to interpret, you know, how much of that exchange was actually you know, because he does have exchanges in the future with people, you know, so it's up to the reader to kind of understand from their perspective how much was actually.
Now, what about with other apes? Can he communicate with like other monkeys, orangutans, things like that?
Same thing.
Same deal. No communication, or
that would actually kind of make a little sense. Like it seems like there could be some understanding, but because he was raised more militaristic with them, it probably could create this barrier of communication. I could see that.
Yeah, I would say that they're able to communicate, and you'll see in EK4, like you'll see that they do communicate.
Okay, nice. Okay.
Hold on 1 second, my girlfriend's getting home.
No worries. Say hello, everyone. But no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I could totally see where you're coming from with that. So.
Yeah, so it's not explicit about how I address that topic, but it's you know, I'm pretty subtle about it. I try to be pretty subtle about it.
Okay, very nice. You kind of leave it up to the reader to fill in the gaps almost.
Yeah, I just kind of tell the story, and then you know, you just kind of have to take it as it is.
Take it or leave it, man.
No, I have thought about this stuff, you know, before, and I had gone through different versions. Like really early on, I went through different versions of him. You know, like for example, writing a letter to his to his girlfriend back at home. Right, that was one of the short stories. But then, I mean, you pull away from it, and it's just like a bunch of scribbles. But in his internal monologue, he's like writing a letter, and then the camera zooms out, and then it sees that it's just a bunch of scribbles on a piece of paper, for example. So that's the type of thing where, you know, he shows the complexity of his idea, but yeah, he's not a human. Not a human.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. That's an interesting take. So you kind of, like you said, really play on the fact that he is an orangutan.
I mean, you guys have, if you've ever had a dog or an animal or a cat, I mean, they tell you.
Oh yeah.
They tell you what's up.
Right. You can figure out what they want from their behaviors, their responses. Their all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's no secrets.
So on the next perk, we have the EK Super Starter Pack. And
yep,
so what we got here?
It's basically the same thing as the starter pack, but we just added that extra swag of the EK can koozies, and then limited edition postcard that we made with some cool art by Bodhi Shaw, who was another contributor to the project. So it's basically, if the starter pack is $20 just for the books, but if you want to put a little extra towards the project, the EK Super Starter Pack will get you the books, and then also some of that swag, including the can koozie and postcard and some other art and stickers and stuff. So
very cool. And do you have the postcard art on the page here as well?
The postcard art is from EK4, so I've already printed them, but no spoilers. So
I want to keep it a little under wraps.
Yeah. So some of the special perks.
Very understandable.
I want people to enjoy it. Especially if you're new to the project. All of this material that you're going to see on this page is new anyway. And if you're old, if you've been around with the project for a while, I mean, you know what you're going to get with EK4. So I kind of I held back on presenting a lot of the pinups and the postcards and things like that. Just to try to have some sort of surprise element or some sort of enjoyment element by when people.
I can get that. Yeah, wait for that big reveal right when you open everything. I can really see that, and then it kind of adds that special. What's that?
Getting comics in the mail is fun. I remember.
Oh yeah.
As a kid, I would subscribe to like Wolverine and Punisher and stuff, and you never knew what the covers were going to look like.
Oh,
you
sure.
Just go out to the mailbox and you open up the mailbox and. You pull out the cover and it was like, whoa, it was sick. So
that's cool. The kind of the nice reveal. Oh yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, you could definitely see that. Yeah, very nice. And then going down, and let's see if we got some more here. Next up, we got the EK number 4 Gaining Physical Super Fan Edition, and so this looks like even more bonus. So what we got here?
Yeah, so that's the higher level fan edition where you get the book and then the postcard, the can koozie. We're also doing limited edition prints. Zero's made these special limited edition prints. He's going to sign and number them. And also at that, we made these EK dog tags. So we made like real dog tags. I don't know if they're real, but a company that makes dog tags. So in the book, El Krudo has dog tags, right? Of course. And it's very specific of what's on there, and that's we show that in EK1. So we just kind of replicated that, and they offer like dog tag keychains. So it's just a little extra swag, right?
That's fun.
You get a limited edition print, you get EK dog tags keychain, you get the beer can koozie, and postcard, and then of course stickers, and that's like the one of the dope packages of all the cool swag and plus the.
Well, I love that. Yeah, the dog tags is a nice touch.
I got a dog tags at the bottom. So
really? Okay.
You'll see it.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I was kind of saying earlier, is that you have a lot of really cool items that you have on offer. Like I've never seen a lot of these being offered on campaigns before, and I always love to see new and unique items that that people haven't really done.
I tried to. There's a metal engraver that's in Portland, and I tried to get the El Krudo logo engraved on machetes, and I still probably will.
Oh wow!
but Kickstarter won't let me sell machetes as a reward.
Damn, is that against the terms of service?
It's against their. Yeah, I emailed them. I was like, hey, look, I see you guys sell knives. Can I offer a machete as a reward to you? And they said no.
Is it specific as a machete, or is it all bladed weapons or bladed?
I don't think they know what they're talking about, man. I'll tell you the truth.
Well, I was thinking you could do a tier where you pay to get a coupon, and then you can redeem the coupon for a free machete.
There you go.
That's an old prohibition trick they used to use.
Machetes. I actually already have the machetes. I'm still gonna get them engraved.
It's freaking cool, man.
This guy does laser engravings, and he gave me a price. I'm like, all right, we can make that happen. We can make that happen. I do that. I might just offer it on my website on elcrudo.com.
That's smart. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I also wanted to do.
Cool,
I wanted to do pork jerky. I wanted to make an El Krudo pork jerky because he talks about his love of pork, but they won't let me do any food either.
Oh man, I didn't know they had so many rules. I never thought about that. Yeah.
Bureaucracy is the man, man.
No food. Come on, guys. What if I wanted somebody, you know?
It's salted pork. It's not gonna go bad.
No, come on. Come on, trust me.
Probably because the FDA. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure.
You know those bureaucrats.
Probably, dude. I could see that, man. But yeah, that would be some interesting products, that's for sure.
Yeah,
definitely not seeing any jerky, man.
Dude, I wanted to do something fun, you know. I mean, pinups are cool. We'll do pinups for sure. But you know, just something kind of fun.
Right, an extra level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it interesting.
Well, very cool, man. Very cool. And then on the next one, next up we have the $60 tier, and that's the ultimate starter pack.
Yep. So that's the same thing as the starter. That's the same thing as the starter pack, or the same thing as the last tier, but you get all 4 books. So if you're new to El Krudo, and you're a high roller, and
very nice
the project, well then you get all the cool swag. You get the can koozie, the postcard, the limited edition print, signed, numbered, and the El Krudo dog tags, the keychain, and you get the 4 books. So it's it's like it's kind of the same thing as the previous tier, but it's for somebody who's new who already doesn't have EK 1 through 3. So
very good. So is this would you say this is the complete collection then?
Yeah, that would be like if you're new to EK and you want to go all in, like this is probably the tier.
A good catch-up pack. With a lot of bonus swag. Okay.
Yeah. If you're not if you don't want to just read the book, if you want all the add-ons, like this is that tier. This is all the stuff that we're gonna make most of the stuff that we're gonna make for the campaign.
Well, hey, for a little bit of a late Christmas present, that sounds great too.
Right. It actually would be a good Christmas or Valentine's Day perhaps, because I think he said January was
true
release date. So perhaps something around there. But yeah, definitely a good gift as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Yeah, crazy-ape family member.
Right. Yeah. Give the crazy-ape adventure to the family member in your life that you like.
Everybody knows that family friend member. You know.
Oh yeah.
We've all got.
We all have one.
We all have one. That's funny. But no, I love this panel, man. This is some wild stuff right here. El Krudo is using one of his famed machetes. It looks like. To slice, is that a boar?
Yeah, it's a wild boar.
Damn, slicing him in half, yeah.
Hey, he's got to eat, man.
Hey, man.
He's stuck in there. He's got to eat.
Slicing and dicing, yo.
He's got to eat.
Yeah, I noticed he does a lot of attacks from on high. Like he gets in the trees and then jumps up, sneaks up on his enemy, gets in there.
Yep,
gets him in.
He's trained for covert ops. So
nice. Okay, that makes sense.
That's the project is covert ops. There's also another project where it's you got these monkeys that do recon. So nice. But the apes are purely for covert ops. They're not for they're not grunts.
Right, and then we got some gorillas as like the big muscle guys, right?
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, of course, right. That's fun. That's a cool concept too. I like the idea of having different types of primates in there.
Yeah, we explore that a lot more. You'll see in the bottom of this campaign, I introduced that concept, but you'll see it a lot more in EK4.
Very nice. And then looks like moving up, we have the Ultimate Fan Edition, and this comes in at $100. And what comes in this one here?
The only difference with that one is I found a real good supplier, and we were making the EK4 cover without any of the lettering or the title, and we're making these metal prints. So we're making these 8x10 metal prints, metal gloss prints, and they're awesome. Nice. They're awesome. I just got the sample I got a sample a week ago, but then I asked them to redo it. They sent me another sample. I just opened it today, and it's just beautiful. So really pumped on that. That's like the money. I mean, it's a beautiful product. So I really hope to move a couple of those. People are going to really dig it.
Yeah, the metal prints are some of the coolest kind of thing you can see out there. Like I've seen those a few times in on campaigns, and they honestly look really cool, like you were saying.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And so the guy who did the cover is German Nobile. He's done a lot of work for Avatar Press. He did a project with Alan Moore back in the day, Kieran Keeling.
Yeah. Cool.
So he did our cover, and it's just a rad cover. And this is when it comes out on that metal print with that gloss, it's just a beautiful thing. So
now, is that cover also kind of being kept under wraps a little bit?
Yeah. So that's
nice.
Gonna
you gotta keep some things out there. Can't tease everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we're at day like 28 and about like $800, I'll probably start dropping a bunch of material. But
hey, well, no, I like that. I do like that though. Keeping that, it almost has like something extra for the backers because they get to be the first ones to see some of this stuff.
Yeah, and the stuff's so cool. I mean, I'm so proud of the team of what they've done. Like, and that shock value and that open it up, like opening up a Christmas gift. I really want people to have that experience with the book. So.
Nice. Well, it sounds like that cover is going to be something really special then to see.
Yeah, no, it's different. It's definitely different, and I'm really happy with it. It's just crazy. So yeah, pretty.
Well, that's great. That's great. Yeah, that's very awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Here we see El Krudo sneaking up in the bushes. He's like he could be in an Assassin's Creed game. I feel like.
That's the opium farm. That's the opium.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah.
The opium poppy. So he's got the guards there. He's taking out the guards.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Covert.
Dude, right. I was gonna say that's a cool shot right there.
Yeah.
And he has deadly skills.
Does not mess around.
No, sir. Very nice. And it looks like we got another perk here. This one's the EK Amazing Art Edition.
Yep.
And what's this one all about?
So that one's everything. Plus you get a one-of-a-kind watercolor painting by Bodhi Shaw. So Bodhi Shaw, he's been with the project for years. He's helped me with Krudo for he's worked on the project for many years. But he's a traditional painter. So we talked about doing a project, and he hadn't worked in acrylics in a long time, but he's like, hey, why don't I do some watercolor? So he did I believe it's a 15 by 11 watercolor painting. He already drew the watercolor painting. So anybody that wants some awesome limited edition crazy monkey and crazy-ape in Vietnam War watercolor painting, we got that.
Well, that sounds cool. And this one is, as you said, this one's an original piece of art. So this one is coming limited at one
of a kind.
So if you want it, you need to jump on it because it's limited to only that one. Not going to be any more of those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's cool, and it's nice because you get some original art. That's always really cool. That's something special, that no one else can have.
Yeah, it's one of a kind. I mean, it's pretty cool. I've already seen it. Like I'm just so happy that we got such a great team. They're so talented, and they're just cranking out some rad material for us. So, yeah, this painting, I mean, it's legit, so it's legit art. So, for those that's why I call it the Amazing Art Edition. It's like, if you're into art, I mean, if you want a nice piece of original art, this will go on your wall. And if you want a nice piece of original crazy-ape action art, I mean, we got that, we got that.
And not to mention, not only you get the original piece of art, but you also get all the other goodies and stuff. You get the books.
You get everything. We'll send you the books. We'll send you the metal print, all the cards, all the pinups, all the stickers, can koozie, the dog tags. I mean, all of it. Anything I have with El Krudo on it, I'll send it to you.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
That's the whole shebang right there.
Yeah, and Bodhi's only going to do one. He says he's only going to do one. He doesn't have time to do another one. So.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Very nice. And it looks like we have one. Is this the last one here? I can't see on my screen.
Yeah, that's the last one. So that's the same thing, but German Nobile, aka Nobi, he's going to do an original art piece for us as well. So,
okay.
But the thing with German, we're going to offer two. So German's in Buenos Aires, right? He's in Argentina, and I'm telling him, I'm like, man, with that shipping's going to be.
Oh God.
It's going to be expensive.
Oh yeah.
So I put on a couple extra bucks on that shipping tier. So if anybody, I mean, there's German. He's got a pretty good fan base. We did a live stream last night. A couple like hardcore indie comic fans came on and they knew his work. So that was super cool to see, and he had a great time talking with them.
Well, that's nice. Yeah.
In Argentina, comics is like a really, really popular medium. It's way, I'd say per capita, it's way more popular than in the United States.
Dang, that's wild.
Yeah, Jerry's a G, man. He's a total G, and I asked him if he'd be able to do an original art piece. So I put it there, and I put the shipping in. The shipping's going to be expensive, so if anybody wants it, it's going to be available.
Just be aware of that. Then I'll have to ship it. Yeah.
He hasn't painted it yet. He's only going to paint. I have the design. If anybody wants it and they want to see what the design looks like, just DM me and I'll send it to you. But it's only for like special. I mean, if not, I'm just going to take it. So.
Well, that's really cool.
It's that shipping from Argentina is the main barrier. So I put it there. It's available. But I told German, I said, hey man, let's only finish it if somebody gets the tier, because shipping's expensive. But if anybody's out there that wants a super dope piece of art, I mean, German's just he's awesome. I mean, he's the man. So I'm really happy to have that tier there. But yeah, I just wanted to make it available, and we'll see what happens.
Very cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's nice seeing some more original art there, and someone who has got experience in the industry and whatnot is nice to see as well.
Yeah, he's been working in comics for almost 20 years, I'd say. So yeah, he's pretty well established. He and I, we were very lucky to work together. I reached out to him because I wanted his work. His work's featured on one of these projects. I wanted him to do a pinup for us for EK3, and he did, and it was just awesome. And so we just started talking, and we had a great relationship. And I said, man, I want you to get involved in this project more. I just love what you're doing. And we developed a rapport after a couple months, and I found a good spot for him in EK4. And he's doing some really heavy lifting in EK4, and he's bringing some rad art to EK4. So really happy to have him on the team. He loves drawing apes, so we're getting along really well.
That's made in heaven, then, isn't it?
That's
perfect.
We're already talking about EK5. We're already talking about other projects. It was great. I love working with German, and that guy's awesome. I'm so happy to work with him.
Yeah, that's so cool, and hopefully you guys can keep working together into the next several issues.
Yeah, really looking forward to it.
Well, awesome. Well, that's a lot of great perks, man. That you got a lot of interesting stuff on offer. A lot of stuff that I've not seen before. Some cool prints and posters and stuff. And of course, I like that you're offering the first 3 books as well, so people can catch up. I always feel like that's an oversight when people leave out the first books. I'm like, wait, but I want to catch up. So yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah, I tried to plan ahead. I mean, I knew when I made EK1 that nobody was ever going to buy it, right? Because nobody knew who I was, or nobody knew what the book was. But now that we have like 3 issues out, we're starting to spread the word a little bit. So when I printed EK1, as you guys are probably aware, I mean, it's the same price, however many, once you get past a certain number of prints, it's like, well, you might as well just print a couple extra, because the price per each at that point, makes sense. So I made sure that when I printed EK1, I printed extra for more than what I just thought I was going to sell. Because by the time I got to EK4 or EK5 or EK6, I mean, how else are people going to get the book? I mean, how are they going to get caught up with the story? I can't just sell EK4 by itself you know, if that's the case, then I'm limited to only the people that have read EK 1 through 3.
True.
They got to read digital and, you know, and things like that.
Some people are turned off by that. You know, some people wanted that physical.
Some people like the physical. I like the physical
Yeah.
too.
I do too. Yeah.
I like the physical.
Yeah.
So, I tried to think ahead. I tried to plan ahead a little bit and make just a couple extra for this campaign. And after this campaign, if I, you know, depending on how well it goes, I'll probably put EK 1 through 4 in a trade paperback, and then do when I launch EK 5, I'll have the trade paperback available with EK 5. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's how I think I'm going to start to stagger it.
Okay. I just wanted to point out here, I love these covers that you have for the first 3 issues. And the episode titles even, you know, Enter the Sausage Grinder, Dragon's Blood, and Deal Breaker. Those are really cool.
So with the first one, I went through a lot of different names that I was going to call it. I had like a list of like probably 10 different names that I was considering. I stuck with Enter the Sausage Grinder. One was because, well, first it kind of reminded me of Hamburger Hill. You know, Hamburger Hill was that, you know, one of the famous battles on K-38, or, you know, I always forget the number of the hill. There was actually a movie about that as well.
Okay.
So hamburger and sausage kind of just ground up in that meat grinder kind of feel. Then I was a big fan of Enter the Dragon, right? That's like Bruce Lee that was one of my favorite movies. So Enter the Sausage Grinder, and then I made it a super gnarly name, and I did that on purpose to try to like make sure that anybody who did read it liked it, because if you pick up a book and it says El Krudo Enter the Sausage Grinder, and then there's a orangutan diving face first into a map of Vietnam, you know, dual wielding. If you look at that title and you're like, oh, I wonder what that's about, and you open it up, well, then you're gonna like the book.
Right, you've grabbed him already.
I've already weeded out
definitely
people that are not gonna like the book. So I've almost guaranteed myself to only get positive reviews. Because if you see this book and it says Enter the Sausage Grinder and you don't want to review it, you're like, it's not for me. You're right, it's not for you. Don't read it and don't give me a bad review. So
that's too good.
I weeded out, you know, potential people that would frown upon it. With that title.
Very nice. Yeah.
It was the gnarliest title out of all of them. I was like, all right, that's a gnarly title. Enter the Sausage Grinder.
Wait, you kind of set the expectations right at the beginning there.
Yeah, set the tone, man. Set the tone.
Exactly, yeah.
You got drool coming out of his mouth.
Oh, dang. Look at this here. So it says El Krudo number 4 and a special double issue featuring EK's much anticipated origin story.
Yeah, EK 4 is the origin story.
That's cool. Well, that's cool. I like a good origin story.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And again, I'll reiterate, it's a double issue, 52 pages. I mean, I don't.
Oh, look at. Oh, yeah, look, we get to see some of his past here.
Yeah, so he has some flashbacks, right, where he thinks about the past. But this is where we dive into it.
Very cool.
So this is a pinup that German Nobile did.
Oh, so man, yeah.
Scroll up just a little bit.
Oh, scroll up, okay.
So you see, like, El Krudo and his buddy, they came in through like the ceiling, right? And you see there's like a 6-pack of beer up there. And so he's with the capuchin monkey, and they're stealing beer out of the officer's fridge.
Nice.
But, you know, they're like adolescents, right? You know, they're like whatever. So they're stealing beer and they're about to get caught. So
that's pretty funny. Very clever monkeys.
Yep. Boys will be boys.
Oh,
that's good. That's a good, man. Well, this is really cool. I love this project, man. This is such a unique project and so fun. It seems like you guys are just having a lot of fun with this project.
That's the point, man. I mean, we're not. That's the only reason why we do it, is because it's just super fun to do.
And everything else is just extra, man. That's kind of the passion that I like to see. You know, you're not out there to necessarily, you know, make it big, but you guys are doing something that's super passionate for you guys, and that's how you really build your fan base. You know.
Yeah, one of the things that I was very conscious of, like when I when I started this project was I want to make something for me, you know. I've heard other people talk about that before, and they just say, "Hey, make something that you think is cool and that you like, that you want to see." And so that's all I'm doing is I'm just making a book that I want to see, you know. That you know, me and like 3 of my friends, we can sit around and we can laugh at it. You know what I mean? I don't like target a demographic and say, "Hey, I'm going to go after this demographic. I'm going to make a book tailored to this one that has this, and this, and I'm going to hit all these points." I mean, that's a strategic way to probably make a lot more money, but that's not what we're doing. This is just something that, hey, I want to make a book that I've never seen that I want to see. I want to tell a story that I've never heard that I want to tell.
Nice. That's only you can tell.
So whenever I get into those kind of decisions, right? Because we all get into those decisions where it's like, oh, am I going to put this in? Is anybody going to get this joke? You know, is anybody going to care? I always err on the side of yes, put it in because I want to put it in, and that's it. I just want to put it in. If it doesn't hit,
that's smart.
That's all I can do is put in what I think I want. Put in what I think I want to put in, and let the cards fall where they may. I'm not trying to appease to any particular.
I 100% agree with you on that. Like I know like a lot of people say like you got to think about what the readers want and all this and that, but I'm with you. I like creating a book that is something that I like to see for me, and you know if other people want to read that you know and they're drawn to that, then that's great. But I think you're right. I feel like it's far more rewarding when you do a story like that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the difference between like art and commercialism. You know, if you're trying to meet a market that you know is there, and you're just trying to cater to that market, well, you're making a product. But like, I'm not trying to make any product. I'm trying to make a piece of art that I'm trying to tell a story that I want to tell, and that's it. I mean, people might appreciate it, but I'm not like I know exactly what you're saying. I've seen other people approach it in a whole different way. They'll say, "Hey, look, there's no story about this, this, and this. We can fill that niche." And you know that's probably detrimental to the financial success of El Krudo. but also it's the only way to really be honest and to make an art product. We'll never have advertisements in the book. We'll never have anything other than every page, every panel, every square inch of the book is exactly what we wanted to put in. We didn't compromise on anything. I don't have an editor, right? I mean, my financiers are like my buddies. You know what I mean? So it's like they're helping me with the project, and that's it. So yeah, that's something that's super cool, and that's awesome. That's one of the best parts about indie comics too, is that you can make all these crazy things, and you don't have to necessarily appease any master.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. We have the full control over what you want to put in there.
Yeah.
Nice. We got the El Krudo dog tags.
Yeah. There you go.
Very nice. Very nice.
So in the dog tags, I don't know if you're familiar, but you have the name, you have the social security, you have the blood type, right? So if you're wounded, they know what kind of blood to stick in you. And then you have the religious affiliation. So if you're dead, they know how to bury you.
So I guess El Krudo's not religious.
His is no.
Now, what kind of blood does he have?
O negative.
Oh, negative. Okay, nice.
I think I looked that up. I think orangutans have O negative blood.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting.
Right.
And then it looks like he actually has a real social security, huh?
The social
don't steal. What's that?
It's a combination of Elvis, LBJ, and somebody else. I took 3 famous social securities and I just fixed them up.
Oh, that's so funny. So don't try and steal El Krudo's identity here, people. It's not a good identity steal anyway. You'd have to be shipped off to Vietnam and go fight in a war. So
that bank account. By now, I bet you he's in debt. That guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Oh yeah.
Man, you don't want to assume that identity.
No way. Oh, that's funny.
The 400s.
Now, I wanted to talk just a little briefly about these stretch goals. Obviously, you reached the first one already, but then there's also, it looks like there's one for a mini poster by Germain, and also the animated short. So maybe talk a little bit about those a little bit.
Yeah. So the mini poster, I think we're going to make the cover into a mini poster. It's just so rad. I just really want to I just really want to share that. So again, I mean, we made the first one. The sticker pack is just super low. I wanted to make sure that I made stickers. I'm a sticker. I like a good sticker. You know what I mean? As a kid, I had a skateboard too. So yeah. So the sticker pack is definitely going to happen. We're just going to take a cool shot and make a PNG file, and do a die cut for the sticker. And I already have a couple other stickers from EK 2 and 3. So I'm going to make like a little packet of stickers. And then the mini poster, 8x10. It's an 8x10 print, gloss finish. And then the animated short, I mean, that's just kind of like my pie in the sky. I think I told you guys before that I was kind of, I've always thought about EK in terms of like animation and film as well. So Bodhi, who helped me with the first EK animation that we did a flash animation. He has a 10-page section in EK4, and so if we get to $4,000, he gave me a price, and we're going to animate it. And
that'd be so cool.
He's going to do the animation, and I'm going to do the sound. I used to do a bunch of sound editing and stuff, so I'll do the sound work. So yeah, so I mean, that would be awesome. I've always kind of, I always kind of hear the voice of El Krudo, and I don't know, I just think really cinematically, and I write really cinematically, and I draw, and everything's moving in my head. So this is like a way for us to really kind of focus in on some of those movements. I mean, the orangutan movements and all that stuff is part of kind of how I envision things. So this is a way for us to try to broaden the broaden the scope of El Krudo as a project, and to continue to build on that foundation that we have already. And so Bodhi's the man. I love Bodhi's art style. He does kind of this like he has a naturally kind of cartoony style, but when I add this like edgy element from EK, like this gritty grindhouse style element to EK, and I like force him into that that style with his natural cartoony style, it's really interesting. He comes out with some really interesting work. And so, yeah, I'm pumped. If we get there, it's going to be cool. I'm going to make the MP4 files available to everybody, so everybody can just download them, have them in their collection or whatever. And it's just going to be a little short. It's going to be a little EK short.
That would be really, really, really cool to see. Like, animation would be just, I mean, for you personally, it would be amazing to see like a whole like animation come together, building off what you guys did with the first one.
Yeah, it'd be super fun. And
yeah.
And he and I, we work together really well. We're good at collaborating, and it's just a fun process to like do the editing and the shots and all that stuff. And now that, I mean, comics are basically paper films. I mean, anybody that's comics, I tell them, I say, hey, these are paper films, so get into comics. So that's essentially what I'm doing with the books. Is it's like almost like storyboarding essentially. We're going to take his work that he's already doing 10 pages. So we're going to take that, and we're going to use that as like a foundation for the storyboard, and build some animation assets and stuff. And
very cool.
Yeah, so that's the goal. I mean, we're super far off right now. Right now we're about $850.
This year just started, so only way is up from here.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you, man. I would love to see it. Obviously, you guys got the books out, but anything you guys get after this would just be really cool. It would be icing on the cake. So
yeah. I mean, that's kind of how we feel. I mean, the books are coming no matter what. And yeah, all this other stuff, these are just like, I might put another tier on this one, and depending on how things go, I'm also pretty good acquaintances with a video game developer. We're talking about building some video game assets for EK. I might put that on here. I don't know. It seems a little too ambitious. I don't know if I have the time. But yeah, but I
got a lot of big ideas, man. So
EK, I mean, what we're doing is, I mean, we're building a platform, right? We're building a foundation for I know that the word universe is used a lot, but maybe not a universe, but within this context of the story, I mean, it's pretty rich. And that whole environment services a lot of different types of media. I mean, animation. Every time I talk to Zeros is like, oh yeah, this is a movie. He's like, this is a live action movie. I talked to Bodie. Bodie's like, the way you're describing it, it's an animation. I talked to my friend. He's like, dude, I can make some sweet left to right scroller attack of a orangutan over, coming in on a VC, pulling up. You know what I mean? Like, he understands the game dynamics of the story that I'm trying to tell. So anytime I talk to somebody that's in a mixed media, they can interpret El Crudo in those different ways, and I think that just says a lot about the project and its potential. And yeah, I mean, comics, of course, are my first primary thing that I'm trying to do. I want to make money. I want to make rad comics, and we're doing that. But it leads itself to other media, and honestly, I just want to tell the El Crudo story. So for me, my number one priority is to get El Crudo 1 through 16 or 1 through 12, depending on how I roll. I want to get that out. I want to get the story out. I want people to read it from start to finish. I mean, it would be so awesome for me that somebody can pick up a book, a graphic novel, and they can read all the El Crudo, El Crudo 1 through 12 in one book, and I can get the full story out. If I get the full story out, I mean, that's my number one. That's my number one goal, and we're working super hard towards that. But that takes time. That takes a lot of time and a lot of human resources. And meanwhile, while I'm working on that, if other things are happening on the side to help kind of support that, that'll be cool as well.
Well, that's excellent. Well, I really like this comic. This is again something really unique, and I think it's got an awesome character and awesome concept here.
Thanks,
and
man.
I really hope you guys make this goal. It would be really awesome. Now, I wanted to ask you as we start wrapping up here, getting towards the end of our time. I wanted to ask you if there's anything you wanted to tell people out there who may be considering backing your book who haven't yet done so.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is, we made a quiz. So if you're unsure about whether or not, if you kind of heard my spiel and regardless of how you feel about me, but we did make a quiz to know whether or not you might like EK. And there's a quiz.
I did see that. Yeah. I was gonna say I did see that when I was going through earlier.
That's the way that we use to kind of communicate with people that might not be familiar with it. So essentially, all right. So here's the EK quiz. So yeah, if you're curious about EK, you want to know if this book's for you, take the EK quiz. It says, should I read El Crudo? The quiz.
I like that, man.
Comic books are only superhero stuff. You got two choices: agree or disagree. We disagree. Number 2, violence depicted in artistic media is a cancer upon society that must stop for the sake of civilization. Yeah, we disagree. Profanity is the effort of a feeble brain to express itself forcibly. No, we disagree. I think agree.
Agree.
So, if you answer in that pattern, you might like it. We got some really. We wanted to make sure that the prices on the Kickstarter were not outrageous. I'm sure you've seen Kickstarters where, 24, 28 page floppies, $15, $20. I'm sure you've seen those campaigns. We want to make sure that price is not an issue. If you can't afford the tiers, let me know. Hit me up. We'll get, whatever it is. Anybody that's interested in El Crudo, we want to make sure that you get a chance to read it, because we think it's cool. If you think this is cool, you might like it as well. So yeah, and don't be a stranger. Like, if you have any questions, hit me up. I'm around. You can find me at Krudel, Krudel. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. I started a Facebook page. My mom just blew me up over and over. I had to get off, dude.
That's funny. Right? Yeah, that Facebook isn't. Yeah, no, too much on there, man.
Instagram. If you have any questions or anything, if you ever want to see any material, we got tons of material. Our our website. We published EK1 for free on our website. You can find that. That's elcrudo.com. I bought elcrudo.com like 10 years ago.
Oh dang, so, nice.
Yeah. So right when I thought it had some legs, you know, there's.
I mean, that you've had the character has been around for a while since you've created.
Yeah, about 10 years. It's been about 10 years. I didn't really get serious about it until about 3 years ago.
Oh wow. Well, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of time to noodle it in my head, and
nice.
You know, that's what brings the richness. You know, I know you've worked with Cody, and he's he kind of has a similar approach where.
Yes, true.
You know, there's so much material and so much lore, and that's what adds the richness to the story. You know, that's what's cool. As opposed to trying to crank something out every month and just trying to, you know, do a different project. So.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You're taking your time with it. You're making sure that it's something that you know you're really putting your effort into.
Yep. Tie all
nice
those
website, by the way. This is a cool website.
Yeah, that background is actually done by Jose Vega. He did some environment design for us. He's actually the lead environment design on the Castlevania Netflix series.
I'm not surprised. That's a really beautiful piece there.
Good work.
Yeah,
it really shows.
We're really happy to have him on the team. He's done a lot of work for us, and he just does our environment design and cool pinups.
Dude, that's what's so interesting too about you guys is you have a very you have a really big team and a very diverse team. People who are doing all sorts of different things, bringing different things to the table, and I really I think that's something interesting that I'm not really seeing again. You know, like you said he was your world designer. Is that what you called him?
Yeah, he does environment design. So I mean,
that's so wild, man, for me.
It's kind of by necessity because you know, art takes time. You know. I have so much material. I mean, it doesn't take time for me to create it. You know, I do a lot of work. I work on this, you know, almost every day. So I have so much material that, like, you know, in order to keep this thing moving, you know, I have to work with a lot of different people. And luckily, you know, I've been able to. I kind of have a strategy, which is like do like a really small project first with somebody and see like how you mesh, you know. Say, hey, you know, I want to do this one little thing. So then you have a small financial investment, and then you start to develop a working relationship. And then if it works, well, then you can take it further and you can continue working with that person. So we just, I've been very fortunate I mean, it's not easy to find people that mesh well with the project. So I've worked with a lot of people, but you know, I think the core team that we have now is awesome, and they're just, you know, they just crank out awesome material. So I couldn't be happier with the team. And
that's great, man.
Yeah. So last night we all got together. We had a big launch party.
Nice.
6 of us on the stream, and it was a lot of fun. And we hit the goal in like an hour and a half, so it was pretty fun to see that happen. But yeah,
it's been cool to have that.
Indie comics is a team sport. Cannot do it all. Some people can do it all alone, like Tom Neely, you know, Frank Miller. There's a couple dudes out there that can crank stuff out, but you know, I'm not one of them. I'm definitely not one of them. So none of this would ever be possible without other people's talents. And I've just been super fortunate to find cool people that are open to just crazy-ape indie comics, and they'll listen to my crazy ideas and we'll work something out. And yeah, it's super fun. It's super fun collaborating with the team.
Well, yeah, that's really cool. And in the chat here, Morning B4 says mad respect for the hustle on that one.
Yo, what up, Morning B?
Nice. So that's it's true, man. I think people can see how much passion you have for the project, how much work you've been putting into it.
Yeah, that guy crushes. He's got an awesome comic, Flowers from the Deep. It's a web comic, but yeah, it's dope. I recommend that one all the time. I think he just finished his first arc.
Oh wow, okay.
He published pages every Friday. I was a regular reader. It's really quality storytelling. So yeah. He should post a link in that chat. He puts out some good work.
Oh, that's really cool, man. Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we're pretty much at the end of our time here. But as we kind of finish up, I wanted to see if there's anything you want to say to your fans out there, anything like that, people who have been supporting you.
Yeah, I mean, just thanks. I mean, anybody that's supported us. I mean, we really appreciate it. It's all about. I mean, we love making it, but like being able to share like a crazy idea with somebody else and have them get it is a really humbling experience, and it's super fun. So thank you everybody who's ever supported our project in any way, whether it's with a like or a retweet or whatever. It's been super fun, and yeah, and any comments, questions, hit me up. I'm always open, and yeah, let's keep this crazy monkey train going.
Very nice. That's great. Well, hey, congratulations again on reaching your goal, and I wish you much luck with your continued funding here. And really excited to see what you guys do next with El Crudo. It should be really, really exciting.
Yeah, Michael, thank you very much for the opportunity, and Matt,
you're welcome.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
You're very welcome, and it was really exciting to talk to you. And everyone out there, if you're watching the chat, we appreciate it. If you're watching on replay, we also appreciate that. And please go ahead and take a look at the link there. We have that there, and there, as we saw in the video, there's plenty of options, plenty of perks to check out. So definitely a lot of stuff to get. If you just want to get the comic book, you can. If you want to go all out and get the metal print, get the whatever else, all that stuff, the koozie. Definitely check it out, and I think you won't be disappointed with this ape comic. And well, thanks again. I appreciate it, and everyone have a great night. And go check out the book, guys. We'll see y'all later.